Hello, welcome in everybody. My name is Laura from Tenacious Taurus Tarot, and this is going to be the collective message for the weekend. So these are the weekend vibes. We are in this gateway portal just before completing a major life transition, a major life cycle. And so we're kind of in this gateway of a lot of confusion, and things can get very pressurized with mental activity right before we close out a cycle. And so just like birthing a new baby, we go through labor pains, and so we're in a massive collective transitionary period. And so this is going to require strength, determination, because we are in the passageway of making sense of all of the past memories through this deep, dark new moon in Cancer and all of this reflection. And so we are at the gateway cross of higher consciousness. And so really pay attention to the mental conditions. I think that's a big theme taking place over the weekend. And so the mind is penetrating to the center of all of this understanding. And so right now it is definitely necessary to maintain a certain level of harmony in order to survive all of the collective disarray, disorder, and discord. And so amongst all of the confusion, though, it might be hard to find the point in all of this. Like, what is the point in all of this? And so right now I feel there might be a powerful temptation that is trying to pull you back as you transition back into the light. And so be careful of people around you that are trying to take hasty action when you have an urge to act, to go towards the light after making sense of all of this confusion. So before we go any further, please feel free to hit that subscribe button, guys. Don't forget to like the video, comment on the video, share the video. It does help to circulate the content. It helps the channel to grow. And so we are in this gateway of trying to make sense of all of the confusion. And so this new moon in Cancer, I feel, is asking you to find your truth, to speak your truth. My throat chakra was not bothering me at all until I started channeling these energies on camera. And so we are in this state of deep inner reflection, deep inner development, and we need to recognize what is essential for the next stage of transcendence. And so what is coming into your awareness? And so there's something I feel where if you take action towards it, it might lead to failure. And so this inner development is what is allowing us to end the confusion. We need to go within to make sense over all of this confusion. And so if you're finding yourself lost in confusion, in mental activity, pressurized mental activity, and that's burdening the psyche, I think you need to look at where you have been overextending your energy and yourself. And so we need to have this wisdom to recognize when enough is enough. And so I do feel there's like a little hang up or hold up when it comes to completing some type of major life transition or cycle. And so divine timing is usually always at play. And so do not give people too many chances, okay? If somebody is coming in seeking another chance or seeking assistance, have the wisdom to know when to cut people off and when to accept them. And so confusion is always going to be a temporary state. And in order to resolve confusion, we do have to detach from others and outside opinions. And so we are in this portal of risking superficiality if you do not let this transition complete. And so there's some type of collapsing energy is what it felt like a collapse. It could be a collapse of beliefs. It could be a collapse of a home situation or a certain foundation, but it was this energy of feeling around in the darkness of there's nowhere to turn. There's nowhere left to turn right now. And so overconfidence will definitely bring you down in these energies. And so there's something fated, I feel, coming through, demanding some type of conviction energy. And so self-realization is key. And so life is always going to be symbolized by certain phases that we go through. The moon assures this transition of these phases. And so with the new moon in Cancer, it is a very deep process connected to the home, connected to the mother, connected to wounding 444 on the timer. And so we are divinely protected as we go through these states of transition. And rest assured, the confusion is a part of the process. And the result is self-realization and self-actualization. And so when we force energy, when we force something, it usually will become our detriment. And so you have to overcome doubt. We can't force relationships. We can't force them. And so if there is confusion connected to a relationship, what are you trying to force? Relief will come when you stop forcing something to work. Some things are just not meant to be. And so what promise are you bringing forward to yourself? I know the promise I made is to be an inspiration for others. And so as we go into New World Order or New Earth Order, we are here to demonstrate healthy interactions with others. And so the energy is also strengthening justification. And so if you've been struggling, if you've been waiting for justification or balancing of the scales, I do feel stay grounded in those values, because there is a certain level of harmony being brought into past relationship cycles. And there's a lot of people out there that will constantly try to justify their bad behavior and avoid accountability at all cost. Avoid these people. Avoid these people, because they surely will keep creating failure and confusion and keep you stuck in that old earth cycle or that old order. And so people that are manipulative can never demonstrate the quality of new earth. And so focus on the new. Stop focusing on the past confusions. Let the past go when it comes to distorted values and distorted relationships. That is where victory lies, in realizing your dreams. And so that's the key, I feel, in these energies. Realizing your dreams, getting out of the pressurized mental confusion and heading towards mental assuredness. And so there is always victory. Victory is inevitable when you put in the self-work, when you overcome self-doubt. And so we have every reason to go after our dreams. And so we all have gifts. We all have mental gifts. We all have spiritual gifts. And so this is the diversity of the collective. None of us have the exact same gifts. We are all diversified in our talents and our gifts. And so they want me to reference the story of the Trojan horse. And so remember, it can be dangerous to get carried away in a celebration thinking that you've won, because the universe has a funny way of bringing that ego back down to earth. Because when you lose vigilance and you lose perspective of the bigger picture, and you lose a perspective of the diversity of all of the collective messages washing over us, it's really easy to lose perspective. And so don't count your blessings before they arrive. And so right now it's the energy of measure for measure, tit for tat. And so what goes around does eventually come back around. And so there's a lot of abstract mental thought processes coming through. And I felt a lot of pressurized energy in the head. And so there could be a new collective sensing coming in when it comes to crown chakra, soul chakra, and third eye chakra activations. And so at a certain point in time, we kind of have to accept the confusion in order to establish a new state of mental processing. And so when we try to constantly make sense of the past and asking ourselves why, and we're resisting the flow of energies, it's really hard, because the mind is going to keep recycling and attempting to make sense of this cycle over and over again. And so there's always going to be like a constant flow of thoughts, a constant flow of data that's going to continuously recycle through the mind until we learn how to be mindful, until we learn mindful meditation. And we learn how to allow these thoughts to flow through us without attachment. And so there's pressure behind that flow of thoughts, behind that flow of energy. And so if you are feeling like there's no resolution in sight, if your mind is being filled with a string of like disconnected memories and images from the past, they're going to need filtering. They're going to need sorting out so we can make sense of what really happened. And eventually you get to a spot where you no longer need to question the whys of what happened. And so in order to enjoy mental purity, we do have to go into states of confusion, and it can become very overwhelming. And so it's almost like clips of our past experiences are coming up in the energy of the dark moon, and even past life fragmented memories are arising. And so our mind is going to sift through all of these memories, kind of like a movie, until everything becomes crystal clear. And when it does, then it's time to share that truth and that clarity with others. And so do not put too much pressure on the mind to figure it out. And so we need to remember this is a very methodical process. And so the more we force the process, the more levels of confusion that will arise, which will trigger anxiety. I felt like a huge collective anxiety this morning after my shower. I messaged a girlfriend. I'm like, I can feel a massive collective tower coming in. Like my whole body started to kind of like tremble and shake. And I thought, oh, that's a collective tower. And then the pressurized energy in the head came through. And so we are being redirected, and as we are being redirected into the light, we are also being tempted. So do not be tempted to resolve issues that are just unresolvable with people that are just trying to manipulate you. And so let's talk about these cosmic energies this weekend. We do have Venus squaring it up with Chiron today, and I was shown angel number 232. And so it's a mirror. 2 represents the high priestess. 3 represents the Empress, and this is all about creativity. 3 is all about creative brilliance. And so there's a lot of spiritual guidance coming through as to where you need to protect yourself, where you need to harness this spiritual strength. And so the Ascended Masters are working with the collective, and they are asking us to stay focused on our goals, 11:22 on the timer, and to have faith in our abilities, whatever those are for you. And so spiritual guidance is always there for protection. Connect to your guides. This might also signify somebody restoring their very powerful connection with the divine. The Empress represents love, life, fertility in the physical world. And so I feel there's a divine feminine energy coming into some type of joy, happiness, peace, and bringing that and manifesting that into her life, which will likely lead to a harvest of abundance. With the moon in Cancer today, it is going to be forming a trine to Saturn, a sextile to Mars. It's going to be conjunct Venus, sextile Uranus, and trine Neptune. And then later this evening, 12:12 now on the timer, the moon is going to enter into Leo late evening tonight. And so I was sitting in this energy of the 8 of Cups reversed and the Sun reversed. And let me tell you, these are 2 very powerful cards. And in reversed, this is a huge sense of disappointment and disillusionment. And it really didn't feel good. And we do need to remember this is not the time to start new relationship cycles. This really is a time of clearing out the old and completing an ending that's probably long overdue. And so the 8 of Cups reversed is basically suggesting somebody here is in a toxic cycle, and they have this inability to move on from a situation or a relationship. And the Sun reversed is indicating somebody in this relationship is in a huge loss of vitality and lacking joy. And so if you find you're in a relationship or in a cycle somewhere with another, and you're struggling to find happiness, contentment, and fulfillment, there might be a need to confront and overcome some negative emotions and some negative experiences. And so we need to be careful, because trauma bonds will reflect a lot of wounding like a twin flame will. And so trauma bonds are there like, hey, I'm going to persevere. I'm going to keep going back. I'm going to keep going back. And you can never find your path forward when you keep going back to these negative emotional attachments and experiences and trauma bonds. And so in order to go towards greater personal fulfillment and personal growth, you have to recognize where you're stuck in a negative cycle. Where do you get yourself trapped in situations that are unfulfilling, and you cling and you beg? And if you're begging somebody for attention, then there's a need to really look at why. Why do you fear change? Why do you fear being alone? Why do you have this inability to move on from a cycle that just keeps hurting you over and over again? Because love is not supposed to hurt. Love actually heals. And so there's somebody here that is trying to struggle to gain clarity. I do feel like a huge lack of clarity here, and somebody really needs to feel their way through the darkness and this confusion. And so there is a need to break free from a person, or maybe it's just a negative pattern, in order to go towards a new positive outlook in your life. And so it is time to let go of old wounds, old beliefs, old relationships that are holding you back. It's time to embrace new spiritual growth and happiness. And so I know the journey is not easy. I know these energies are very difficult and not easy at all, especially if you have prominent placements in the cardinal signs, Aries, Libra, Cancer, and Capricorn. And so this new moon is shining a light on the darkness so we can find that pathway forward. And so although new moons are about planting those seeds, it is also about understanding the stuck energy of a trapped situation that you might be in and why. Why are you unable to move forward? Because it's likely due to a past negative emotion or trauma. And so you might be feeling like you're stuck in a rut, and maybe it's just a dead-end job. But I feel like if you do nothing, then nothing will change. So it is time to break free, honey. I don't know who I'm talking to. It's time to break free, honey. I do feel it's time to understand why you're struggling to let go, why you hold yourself back, because ultimately we all have free will. We all have the choice to move or not move, or to make a decision or not make a decision. And it is time to leave behind what no longer is serving all of us. And so if you're feeling down, if you're struggling to see the bright side of life or the bright side of things, don't worry. I've been there. We have all been there. Depression is a part of life. Depression is just a sign of soul suppression, and you're tired of being in a stuck cycle. And so look for ways to boost your energy. If you are struggling, you need to focus on yourself, because nobody is going to love you as much as you can love yourself. And so the energy is suggesting there is a very stuck situation. Somebody here, I feel, is being sapped by their vitality, drained of all of their energy. And this really does keep you from feeling joyful and optimistic. And so this is really a huge sign. Somebody here needs to make some big changes, whether it means leaving a toxic relationship, or leaving a dead-end job behind, or simply just taking time to focus on yourself and your own needs. And so really take into consideration all of these things, because this is a wake-up call, this new moon, to prioritize your own well-being and happiness over somebody else, because we can't pour from an empty cup. And so don't be afraid to make changes. Don't be afraid to move on, especially if it's scary and uncomfortable. Like, hey, we're not meant to stay in that comfort zone, and we all got what it takes to move on. And so into Sunday, when the moon moves into Leo, this is going to create very intense emotional turmoil and change, because it is going to be opposite Pluto. Will also conjunct Mercury and sextile Jupiter. And so the Magician and the Temperance was loud, but these energies were in reversed. So I don't know what these reversals are all about. It could be the reversal of the scales. This could be something coming back around that you've avoided up until now. But either way, it's intense, it's emotional turmoil, and it's demanding change. And so be ready to be triggered with drastic mood swings. It's like somebody here is about to combust. There's going to be a lot of obsessive compulsive habits that are going to be triggered. This might create power struggles in relationships, especially with female family members. And so this is really forcing some major life changes, especially in the areas of feelings, behavioral patterns, and domestic issues on the home front, because we are talking about the Cancer energy. And so I do feel somebody here is being warned. This is a big, loud warning that Spirit wants me to convey to somebody out there, that there's imbalance here, there's misdirection here, and the energy really is indicating a lack of self-control. So watch your decision making. If somebody is making poor decisions or has poor decision making skills, this is signifying manipulation and deceit. And we all can be the manipulator and the deceiver. We all can be there. And so be mindful of your own actions too. Be mindful of your own intentions. Are they pure, or are they selfishly motivated? Because you may have unintended consequences this weekend if you are playing into lacking self-control. And so it's really crucial to exercise caution. It's crucial to be considerate of long-term effects of your words, your choices, and the outcomes. And so I do feel somebody here struggling for sure with self-control. And let me tell you, that is never, ever a good thing, because I've been that person and I know what it feels like to spiral out of control. So I would avoid indulging in excess of anything, especially when it comes to drugs and alcohol this weekend. Part of the spiritual path is all about purification and healing away addictions. And if you are indulging in excess, you're likely to lose control over the tiniest, slightest little things. So this is a warning. When we indulge and we're not being our best self, and we are not in control of our actions, we will end up in hot water, and there's going to be some type of tower. So I just want to say, buckle up. These energies are a huge warning that somebody here in your life is not to be trusted. So, and maybe you are the one not to be trusted. You get to decide who you are, but there's manipulation all afoot, I feel, in the energies this weekend, and you might not even see it. So really read between the lines. The energy is telling the collective, pay attention to the people around you. Pay attention to the people around you and be careful of who you trust. Not everybody is worthy of your trust. It is a double-edged sword energy. It's like a double whammy, a double whammy. And so if you're dealing with your own lack of self-control and you are being manipulated by somebody else at the same time, this is just a recipe for disaster. So it's really crucial to like take that step back. Take that step back, go within, understand what it is you need to reassess connected to this situation and figure out how you can regain control. You really need to take a serious look at your life. We all do. And we all need to make those changes for the better. So it's time to cut out the excess. It's time to cut out the addictions. It's time to get a handle on our emotions. And so you need to take a closer look at the people around you and really determine, are these people trustworthy? Because people wear masks. People wear masks all the time. And so don't take this reading lightly. I do feel the energy is telling you to get your act together before it's too late and to take control of your life and to be mindful of your actions and make a smart decision. Remember, the power is always in your hands. So let's jump in with some spiritual journey oracle messages. Today, I got to find my pen again. I always forget my pen, guys, to timestamp the reading. Okay, I am back. So let's get into the cards, guys. Let's do it. Let's see what needs to come through. Twin soul, imparting wisdom. And so this Lionsgate portal is huge for twin soul reunion. And so if you found me, you're likely on the twin soul path, and you've likely incarnated with your divine counterpart this life. And so this is a very complex connection. And it does require you to strip away all of the old. And it does require you to bring high vibration love into the world. The Twin Soul, Twin Flame Collective is here to impart wisdom. So let's get into it. Twin Soul, right out the gate, right out the cut. So what needs to come through for a collective message today? There's like an Ace of Wands energy coming through with this soul connection. So we are on the precipice of closing out those short-term karmic soul connections and going towards long-term stability. And so be open to receiving. Be open to receiving the lesson. Be open to receiving the clarity. Quieting the mind will allow the thoughts to flow through you, and they will be released so that clarity can come. So drop it into the heart, guys. We got massive soul awakening, and that was the message for the Cancer new moon yesterday. So liberation. We are breaking the chains of these false twin soul contracts. And so many have been in false contracts for about the last 4 to 5 years. And these contracts are coming to an end because they do create restrictions. They create impediments. And freedom does begin with a choice. We all have free will choice. So you can choose to repeat that short-term karmic cycle and keep getting the same results over and over again. And that's kind of insane. I know I don't want to keep repeating the old cycles. And so there's something here sparking the new. The Ace of Wands is potential. The twins do have work that they are here to do related to love and related to relationships. And we are here to speak to the collective and lift the vibration of the world. And so there's a very important message coming through. There is a toxic soul connection that does need to be released. And this connection was probably very pivotal and played a significant role when it comes to your spiritual evolution. It was part of your awakening. It was there to get you to open your heart. And so if somebody keeps hurting you over and over again, they're just there as a catalyst. And so your higher self is saying, hey, that ego wants to cling to the old. That ego is saying, hey, let's keep repeating this old cycle of connection. And I feel the higher self is saying it's time. There's a massive global awakening happening right now. I do feel with the Divine Masculine Collective going through a massive heart awakening. And so there's a need to fill your heart with love. There's a need to fill your heart with compassion and forgiveness, right? And so We all don't know how to do better until we do, and when we know, then we got to do better. And so I feel right now you're being asked to find your truth. What is your truth? I do feel there could be a divine masculine here that's been misguided by a group of friends, by a lot of lies, by a lot of falsehoods. This could even be religious falsehoods. And so the light is shining down on somebody's heart and their soul. And there's a major karmic lesson that does need to reach completion this weekend. And so there's a past life karmic experience here that needs resolution. So work through the painful lesson. We don't change in the throes of easiness. We change in the throes of chaos and conflict. And that is always going to be an opportunity for growth. So let's jump into the tarot and let's see what needs to come on. Come on. Oh, come on. I said, come on. What needs to come out? The Four of Cups and the Two of Cups. And so, yeah, I do feel somebody's trapped in third party. Thinking about this Ace of Cups, I want to say, just go and drink the freaking cup, dude. Just drink the freaking cup. But there is a deep twin soul connection coming through. And so there could be somebody I'm speaking to with a Venus in Cancer. Cancer energy is loud. And so somebody here, I think, has denied their emotional truth. And they see the cup. They want to drink from the cup. Somebody is being stripped away of everything, I feel, and being prepared for some type of twin soul reunion, union energy. So there's a Two of Cups on the table, guys. And so somebody here is stuck in a state of depression, soul suppression, and there's a need to break free from a toxic contract. So there's that Four of Cups in reverse now at play. And so there does need to be an ending, and it could be with somebody with prominent Scorpio. It could be Scorpio Sun, Moon, South Node, North Node, before a reunion can take place. And so there's a toxic pattern here that this soul connection has taught you as part of your evolution. And so it's time to break free. It's time to break free. That's an ending. The Six of Cups in reverse. And so freedom is a choice. And I think somebody is choosing to break free from a toxic contract. There is a karmic lesson being learned, and I think this has been a very harsh human experience in this relationship. And so we get the Seven of Wands, Leo energy, Mars energy. This is the teacher of the teachers, and so get ready to defend yourself. Get ready to protect yourself. There is like the last straw, the final straw that broke the camel's back. And so this is hurtful. This is betrayal. This is the worst is over. And so then we get the Ten of Swords, the Ten of Wands. And so Saturn is saying, hey, this is like a coming to Jesus moment. You're going to have to give this to God. And so somebody's carried a burden on their back for a long time. Somebody might have been hiding their pain for a long time. And there's about to be swift, unexpected movement. I think a lot is happening right now. Somebody, I feel, could be going through a heart awakening for sure. There's the Three of Wands. We get the Chariot. There's that new moon in Cancer energy. We got lots of wands here coming through. We get the Seven of Cups. There's that confusion, that disillusionment. We get the Death energy. That kind of flipped right out. So lots of Scorpio, lots of Sagittarius. We get Leo, we get Cancer, we get Aries, and I took the two. So we get the Page of Cups, and we get the Eight of Swords. So somebody's trapped. Somebody's in an entrapped situation, and somebody's bubble is about to get burst. And so it could be a Pisces, could be a Jupiter in Pisces, could be a Scorpio. But there is a new beginning in love here. And I think somebody's trapped when it comes to bringing forward some type of communication, maybe an apology. What do we got on the bottom of the deck? Yeah, we got an Empress here. We've got a Divine Feminine that I feel is about to reap a harvest. Very interesting. Taurus, Libra. And so somebody's going towards a Divine Feminine and facing judgment. And so you might be this Divine Feminine. You might need to make a judgment call. I do feel I'm talking to a feminine that's gone through some type of process of soul retrieval. And now you're getting grounded. You're getting grounded in this new energy that you have birthed. And it's time for a new creative cycle. Unlimited potential. We've got an Empress here that has the ability to create anything. She's abundant. Everybody wants the Empress. Everybody is drawn to the Empress. She's beautiful. She's magnetic. She's loving. She loves everything and everyone unconditionally. And so something here needs to die away when it comes to confusion. Somebody here is in a major transitionary period before taking action. And so somebody is trapped and they're not able to move forward, I think, until they bring forward some type of communication, to this divine feminine. And so in the recent past, I do feel somebody was on guard. Somebody wasn't willing to open up their heart, and this could have led to a massive betrayal. Maybe this Empress was stabbed in the back, and somebody thought they could move on and never look back. And now they're stuck, right? They're stuck looking back at maybe where they were misguided by falsehoods, because with the 8 to the 3, I do feel a 5 of Wands here. And so there could have been a lot of outside opinions that got into the mix here. And I think somebody pieced out of a situation without really looking at the truth of something here. And this is creating a lot of confusion and illusion. And so there is a shedding here. Somebody here too needs to shed their manipulative ways. There is a masculine going through some type of Kundalini activation is what it feels like. I feel sacred rage. I feel anger. I feel a life force activation. So what is this 3 of Wands? Because it might be too late. It might be. What is the 3 of Wands about? The Queen of Wands. So there is a true pair on the board coming out. We get the 9 of Swords, and we get the 8 of Pentacles. And so I do feel somebody is deeply wounded. Now we get the 9s. 9 of Wands on the bottom of the deck. And so there is somebody here I feel very magnetic in the spotlight. The Queen of Wands upright has the ability to create her dreams. She's magnetically attractive. She's focused on her work. She might not see this coming. And I feel somebody is being haunted by the past, because they didn't choose a true counterpart. Maybe they got swayed. Maybe they had to go and sow some wild oats as that Knight of Wands before they could mature. But the doorway opportunity is here for some type of twin flame union or twin flame reunion. And somebody here is struggling. They're struggling. I think somebody might have chose third party over a deep spiritual connection, and there's regret. And there's lack. I could be talking to a Mars and Scorpio. It doesn't have to be. And I feel this Pluto retrograde, when it dips back into Capricorn, might bring forward an opportunity to reassess. And I do feel Lionsgate is likely going to bring in a solid offer. So there is like an unexpected choice in love coming through in the energies this weekend. And there is a cycle reaching completion for a new beginning. So this might be shocking. This might be confusing, but there is a decision that needs to be made. And I do feel there's a feminine here that gets to have the final say. She gets to decide. She already knows this is coming. We've got a feminine here that has healed her heart, that has gone through the worst of the worst, that likely was betrayed by some type of liar or cheater or thief. And I do feel blocks are being removed because somebody has had blind faith to cut cords with something toxic. And so the truth will always prevail. So what is this apology about? What is the apology about? Because somebody's stuck up in their head with bringing forward a message of love, an open-hearted message. And I think this moon is really bringing that to light. And so somebody's struggling with fear. They're probably deathly afraid to be rejected or abandoned. Could be talking to a moon in Pisces. But I do feel somebody really has wore a mask of steel here about this connection, about how bad they want a new beginning. And I do feel maybe they're dealing with a Queen of Cups. I'm not sure. Queen of Cups in reversed. But I feel if that's the case, there's going to be a new perspective shift. Yeah, there's the Hanged Man and the King of Swords. And so I do feel we've got a masculine here that needs to cut out some type of karmic connection. We got the King of Swords receiving downloads, gaining a new perspective. We've got a Queen of Cups here that is overly emotional, that cries to get what she wants, manipulates situations. And we got a masculine that needs to boss up. So if you want your wishes to come true, it is going to require action. It is going to require you to take those guided action steps. What is the past life lesson here between these two twin souls? Because the Aries energy is saying, hey, somebody here has worked tirelessly. I feel there's an Empress here that has worked tirelessly to cultivate her path, to cultivate her mission. And I do feel maybe trying to reach the masses of some sort. Maybe you work at markets. Maybe you set up tables and work expos or markets. But I do feel there was like an untimely ending with the twin soul. And there's an Empress here that kind of had to pick up herself from rock bottom. And I think somebody here is being haunted by their past mistakes. Yeah, so the lesson here is the Lovers. I do feel there's a divine masculine here that's likely in a karmic cycle, in a relationship where he has hidden the truth of his heart, and he has guarded this truth and remained loyal to the counterpart, even though they might not be physically connected. And so the lesson here is about your faith and your devotion to your service-based mission. So I do feel future successes are coming. Somebody here is achieving a hard-earned degree when it comes to higher learning. And then we get the untimely death with a twin soul. And so I do feel a twin soul connection that came to an end abruptly. Maybe you didn't have a chance to say goodbye. Maybe there wasn't even a chance to have any type of closure. But there is a divine counterpart situation here where maybe you have incarnated for many lifetimes to raise the vibration of the earth. And this is the lifetime that you clear all codependency. So I feel there's a masculine and a codependent cycle. There's a feminine here that needed to master being single and needed to master being self-reliant, or is mastering that right now. We could have a feminine here that has never been married, maybe has enjoyed some casual relationships throughout her life, and maybe in twin soul separation, you've gone through a very unconventional period. And so there is a masculine here, or a feminine, I'm not sure. There could be a toxic karmic feminine here that is just overly dependent and reliant on other people to create happiness. And so there's a situation that needs to be addressed and closed out, connected to lust. And so fleshy desires will never fulfill what's lacking deep inside. So you can try and fill that void with food, with drugs, with booze. You can try and fill that void with sex, other people, but that will never ever cure what's lacking deep inside of you, because fleshy, lustful desires are really not desires of the heart. And so I do feel there's a divine feminine here coming into some type of affluency, really making a household name for herself. This could be like a famed artist, somebody in the public eye that is really gaining recognition within society, within the public eye. So let's get a message from Spirit, and then we're going to close off with a self-care message. You need to get honest with yourself about what is going on here. Somebody here needs to get honest with themselves. So what is the message from Spirit connected to this? We got somebody here that's a leader, or stepping into leadership. And so there is somebody here, I feel just so grateful for this divine feminine. I feel somebody here is looking at this feminine as a treasure, as a gift. And yeah, I feel this is allowing somebody to recognize that they need to create healthy space between them and somebody that's very toxic and very unhealthy. And so what makes your heart sing? What makes your soul and heart sing? Recapture your vitality. What is the final closing message? When you are content with yourself, you do not need another's approval. When we accept ourselves as whole, that's when the world will accept us as who we truly are. And so bring this to your attention. Nothing outside of you will ever complete you into a state of wholeness. And so solitude, that's my favorite thing. Solitude is really the place where all of this chaos can be laid to rest, so you can awaken to that inner peace and that clarity of thought. So spend some time alone this weekend if need be. Recognize that you need to create some boundaries and some healthy space here and break free from something toxic. And so the closing message is it's time to take a step back. Release whatever it is you don't have time for. There's a lot being reflected, and it is connected to low self-esteem, needing to instill maybe a self-care regime. And so your heart already knows what it is that you need to do to navigate your life to the next level, to the next stage. And so, you know, self-care isn't just about going and getting your hair done and getting a pedicure and getting a manicure and spoiling yourself at a spa day. Although those are lovely things to do for yourself, that really isn't true self-care. Self-care is meditating on what it is that your heart needs, what it is that your heart wants in order to grow, to be happy, and to be at peace. So how can you implement daily meditation into your life? Maybe it's time to pick up a book, read a book, journal about your thoughts, or simply sit outside and quiet your mind. Quiet the mind. I think the best thing you can do is avoid drama this weekend. And so it's like somebody here is like, I just don't have time for this anymore. Maybe you need to write a letter to your future self. Maybe you need to think about what is your life going to be like in 10 years from now if I stay in this toxic cycle. Are you going to be happy? Are you going to have all that youth wasted and waste 10 more years of your life somewhere you don't want to be? because we are coming into conscious awareness. We can celebrate blessings coming into our life once we integrate all of these lessons and we get grounded in an integrated spiritual practice. And so there's something coming into new form. And so make a list of all of the blessings in your life and then go towards manifesting more blessings. When we're grateful for what we have, then we can bring more into our life. And so that is kind of what I have for a message this weekend, guys. If you would like to book a personal or a soulmate reading with me, check out that description box below. I do look forward to seeing you all again next time, and thanks for coming out today.